everybody, Maggie Mordaunt with Women's Defense Network. Here's an important video. Cleaning, care, and maintenance. It's really important to understand how to clean your own firearm. We want to be able to depend on yourself. It's great to understand how to clean that gun, to be able to accomplish it all on your own. One of the great things about learning about keeping a firearm clean is it's going to prolong the life of that firearm so that you could potentially pass it down from generation to generation to generation. In this video, some of the topics that we're going to be covering is safety. Safety is at the forefront of everything we do, and in cleaning, it is also one of the things that we start with. One of the other topics that we're going to talk about is nomenclature. Nomenclature is just a fancy word for parts and pieces. It's really important to understand the parts and pieces of the firearms, and I've got lots of them back here, that you want to know all those parts and pieces, because once you take it apart, once you disassemble everything, which is another topic that we're going to cover, we also want to know how to put it back together all by yourself. So in this video, you'll see I have lots of products here. My favorite products, Breakthrough Clean. Breakthrough Clean far outtests the time. I've been using this for a while, and I can't say that I can find anything better than this product. So we're going to be talking a lot about how to use the awesome Breakthrough Clean products on multiple different firearms that I have up here on my tactical walls. All right, so when we do a more extensive cleaning, I'm going to grab one of these guns from up here, and I have the Springfield Mod 2. This is the XD9. Now again, we want to practice safety first. We're going to do a two-person check, making sure that there's no ammunition in this gun, keeping the gun pointed in a generally safe direction, keeping my finger somewhere else other than the trigger. On the seam between the slide and the frame of the gun is always best. Remember, if your finger's on the seam, then that just seems right. All right, getting that proper one-hand grip. Going to go ahead and lock the slide action open, checking that chamber, visually and physically inspecting, making sure that there's no ammunition in the gun. Again, doing that two-person check, I'm going to check it again. No ammunition. Perfect. Now, if you see the inside of this gun, boy, this gun is actually pretty dirty. This is one of the most popular guns that our students tend to like to borrow when we teach classes. And we had about 24 students shoot this gun recently, so it's had a lot of ammunition put through it. We had a lot of students shoot it for a CCW class, and they used it then, so it's in good, dirty condition. Okay, so keeping the firearm pointed in a generally safe direction, I'm going to disassemble the firearm. We're going to push this bar up, releasing the slide, and depressing the trigger. When you depress the trigger, it allows the slide to come freely. Wow, that gun is dirty. So we have our four primary pieces. We have our barrel with the chamber, the locking lugs, the feeding ramp that we're going to clean. We have our slide. We have our spring with the guide rod. And then we have our frame. Those are the four primary pieces, and that's about as far as we're going to take this apart. This gun is very dirty. You can see how dirty that feeding ramp is. You can kind of get a visual of that, just how dirty that is. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to use our military grade solvent. Spray down in the barrel, the feeding ramp. Get that all nice and clean. Spray all in here, all over the frame. Let that sit for a second. You don't have to have it sit too long, because this stuff is pretty awesome. It gets it off pretty fast. Now, I have my rod handle, my rod, and my bristle brush. This is 3 different pieces, and this came in my Vision kit. Love this kit. Make sure it's all tight on there. What's really cool is this actually does move effortlessly. It's got that ball barrel movement, so it's not rigid when you're using it. So from the breech end, we're going to take the rod and push it straight through. Now it is the caliber specific bristle brush from the breech end. Back and forth. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to grab, we have all the table of contents on here of the kit. So the next thing we want to pull out is going to be the little cotton mop, and I have one that I already pulled out. And remember, it is caliber specific, so you want to get that cotton mop. And we'll just take this brush off now that we're done with that. Set that aside. Get that cotton mop and put it on there. Okay, from the breech end. The breech end is where you'll see the feeding ramp. Hold it firmly. Push it straight through, back and forth. You want to go straight back and forth. You don't want to move the rod up and down because we want to make sure we protect the lands and grooves and the spiraling and the rifling. So we've got our chamber, our feeding ramp, all nice and clean. See, that's all nice and clean now. It's pretty dirty earlier. Got that all nice and clean. I'm going to be using the Breakthrough Clean polycarbonate tools. These are great tools. It's important to have good tools when cleaning your guns, and these are great, good quality products. They are polycarbonate. They're not like a solid form. They are pretty cool that Breakthrough just came out with them. I'm excited to use my new tools. And so we're going to go over the different areas. I think I'm going to actually use this one first, so we can really get a lot of that debris off. Put this little patch here so you guys can see all the debris that I'm getting off of here. Look at that. Oof, it's like chunks coming off. I do want to make sure I wipe that off a little bit more. All nice and clean. Any more debris we have on there, any of that carbon. You can also use precision tools like Q-tips. They can really get into those precise areas as well. Now we're going to clean that slide. Now I'm going to use my polycarbon tools from Breakthrough Clean. Get anything else out of there that needs to be cleaned out. Now remember, these tools are really sharp. Now that we actually have our 4 parts cleaned, now we need to oil it. I'm going to be using the Battle-Born High Purity Oil from Breakthrough Clean. The areas where I put oil is on the slide rails, 1 little drop on the center bar, and then I kind of rub that on there. Staying away from this little weep hole. We don't want to put any oil in there or on the plunger. In this little center area here, we have the hood. Put my little dot there. That's all the oil I put on the slide. We don't put any oil on the spring or the guide rod. Don't put anything on there. So on the frame itself, the only places that I would usually put oil is on the slide bars one drop on each side, and then one in the middle of those slide bars. The other area that I might put is from the connector here. One little tiny drop right there. And that's pretty much it for the frame. And then on the barrel itself, I'll put a line on the top and a line on the bottom, and then a line, and then drops on the legs. Right there. Okay, that's pretty much the only areas where I'll put oil on that. And now we're going to reassemble. So I'll take the barrel, slide it down in, muzzle first, into the bottom hole. And so if you kind of see, we just kind of rock it back, it falls right into place. So remember, legs up. I put the locking lugs upright. Okay, so then we take the guide rod and place it into the top space here, into the guide rod circle. And then we're going to pinch the spring, putting it into its place, into the locking lugs. You want to make sure that it's nice and flat. Okay, so sometimes if it kind of sticks out a little bit, and you try to put it back together, it kind of gets stuck. So make sure it's nice and flat. Okay, then grasping the frame, a proper one-hand grip, keeping the firearm pointed in a generally safe direction, we're going to take the slide and line up the slide with the slide rails, and slowly, you don't want to do this too fast, you want to do things slowly, and you're going to push the gun forward as you push the slide lock button up. Now with the Springfield, because we do have our grip safety, you're going to take the side of your thumb pushing that slide lock button up as you pull the slide back and push the gun forward, locking the slide action open. Now we can actually close down our disassembly lever, and now the gun is all back together again. And there you go. It's all nice and clean. So if we have any oil or cleaner on the outside of the gun, we'll take our cloth and then just wipe it off. Get it all nice and clean. Any extra cleaner, lubricant, or anything like that that may have potentially gotten on the gun, just clean it off. Now it's all nice and clean. And there we go. That is cleaning the firearm. We made sure that we were safe. We looked at all the different parts and pieces that we were supposed to take apart, knowing that you don't have to take the gun apart all the way. If you're at the range, you can just use the battle rope at the range with your little smaller mini bottles that you can put in your range bag. I really do like the Vision Kit. It has the whole rod system, all the different awesome tools from Breakthrough Clean and the polycarbonate tools. Yeah, this whole system I think is pretty awesome. Very easy to use, great quality products. I did this in my house, no smell whatsoever. So I do highly recommend Breakthrough Clean products. Pretty easy, no irritation of the skin. This is Maggie Mordaunt with Women's Defense Network. That is cleaning care and maintenance.